You hear the name Rolex, and a few things probably pop into your head, right? Maybe it's success, precision, or maybe it's just a total mystery. Well, today we're going to try and unlock that mystery. We're diving into the story behind the crown, this global legend of a brand. Okay, to get a sense of just how massive this brand is, just look at this number. We're talking an estimated 10 billion Swiss francs in revenue for 2023. I mean, that is just a staggering figure. It makes Rolex the undisputed king of the luxury watch world. But, and this is a big but, here's where the story takes a really interesting turn. See, this commercial giant, it's not some publicly traded company that's constantly worrying about shareholders and quarterly profits. Nope. It's actually owned and controlled by a private charitable foundation, the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. So what does that mean? It means they don't answer to the stock market. They answer to themselves. And believe me, that changes absolutely everything. And that right there, that's the central paradox of Rolex, isn't it? How can a brand be one of the most visible status symbols on the entire planet, and at the same time, one of the most secretive private companies in the world? It's a great question. So how'd they do it? All right, to answer that, we've got to go way back, right back to the beginning. It all starts with the founder, a guy named Hans Wilsdorf. And this guy, he had a vision. He wasn't just trying to sell watches. He wanted to completely reinvent the entire idea of what a watch could be. You have to remember, back in the early 1900s, wristwatches were they were flimsy. They were seen as delicate pieces of jewelry, you know? They were super inaccurate, and they just couldn't handle everyday life. A little bit of dust, a bit of moisture, and poof, the delicate mechanics inside are toast. But for Wilsdorf, that wasn't a dead end. It was a challenge, a big one. And check this out. You can see exactly how they tackled these problems. One by one, it was so systematic. First up, 1908, he comes up with this brilliant name, Rolex. Then, in 1926, the game changer, the oyster case, which sealed the watch completely. And then, 1931, the Perpetual rotor, a mechanism that meant you'd never have to wind your watch again. It was like they were building this fortress of reliability brick by brick. And that idea of a hermetically sealed case, that is so important. We're not just talking about being a little splash-proof here. The oyster case was designed to be totally impenetrable. Think of it like a tiny submarine for your wrist. This one innovation, all by itself, transformed the wristwatch from this fragile accessory into a tough, reliable tool that you could actually depend on, no matter where you are. Okay, so here's the thing. Building the perfect watch, that was only half the battle. Seriously. To become a true legend, Rolex had to go out and prove it to the world. And not just prove it, but do it in the most dramatic way possible. They needed to build a story. And this is where the real marketing genius kicks in. Wilsdorf got it. He knew that just putting out a press release was, well, boring and forgettable. He had to show people. He had to prove his watch could survive in the most extreme conditions you could think of. The plan? Put it on the wrist of someone doing the impossible. And as we're about to see, that strategy was pure gold. And here's the perfect example, 1927. A woman named Mercedes Gleitz swims the English Channel, and guess what she had with her? A Rolex oyster. After more than 10 hours in that freezing cold water, the watch was still ticking away perfectly. Rolex immediately took out a full-page ad on the front of the Daily Mail to shout about it. And just like that, the whole idea of a brand ambassador was pretty much born. But you know, the most incredible story in Rolex history might have come from one of the world's darkest moments. During World War II, a lot of Allied pilots were actually wearing their own Rolexes, but when they were captured and became prisoners of war, their watches were confiscated. When Hans Wilsdorf found out about this, he did something pretty extraordinary. He made an offer. He would send any captured officer a brand new Rolex, with just one condition. You don't have to pay until the war is over. This letter here to Corporal Clive Nutting, who was actually one of the organizers of the famous Great Escape, just says it all, doesn't it? An English gentleman should not even think about paying. It was this incredible act of faith and this powerful symbol of solidarity. You can imagine what that did for morale. And that story, it has some serious staying power. Get this, in 2007, that exact watch, the one sent to the POW camp, was sold at auction. The price? £66,000. It's just proof that the value isn't just in the gears and the steel, it's locked into the history.
So you have these incredible stories that built a legend, but now let's pivot and look at the modern machine, the unique corporate structure that Rolex has built to protect that legend. This is how they operate with so much power and secrecy today. This is where we really start to crack the code. Okay, this right here gets to the absolute heart of the Rolex mystery. Look at this comparison. On one side, you've got the public competitors, right? They have to answer to shareholders, they're always chasing those quarterly profits. But on the other side, you have Rolex, a private foundation. And this isn't just some small detail, it is the key to everything. It means they can play the long game, they can focus entirely on the brand, on the product, and never, ever have to compromise just to make a stock price pop for a few months.
And has that strategy worked? Yeah. It's resulted in total market dominance. I mean, look at this. Rolex, by itself, commands nearly a full third of the entire Swiss luxury watch market. It's not just the leader in the clubhouse, it's playing a totally different game. It completely dwarfs its competition. So the big question is, how do they keep this incredible level of control? Well, it really comes down to these 4 pillars. First, vertical integration. They make basically everything themselves, in-house. That means ultimate quality control. Second, they were smart enough to create a sibling brand, Tudor, to hit a different price point without watering down the Rolex name. Third, we've already talked about it, but it's the secret sauce, that foundation ownership that lets them think in decades, not quarters. And finally, they have an iron grip on their dealer network. That's why it's so hard to just walk in and buy a new Rolex. It's all about controlling the supply to keep that exclusive feel. All right, so when you put all of these pieces of the puzzle together, the crazy obsession with innovation, the legendary stories they built, and that super unique, secretive business model, you end up with something that's way more than just a watch.
I mean, think about it. A Rolex isn't really just a tool for telling time anymore, is it? It's become this global shorthand for achievement. It's a symbol that you've hit a certain milestone, that you've made it. And because of all that history, it also stands for this quiet, tough, unstoppable endurance. And this cultural power, it translates directly into cold, hard cash. In 2017, the Rolex Daytona that was once owned by the actor Paul Newman, it sold for, wait for it, $17.7 million. That is just a mind-blowing world record. It proves people aren't just buying a machine made of steel and tiny gears, they're buying a piece of the legend. Which kind of brings us full circle, back to a final question. After all of this, what is a Rolex, really? Is it still that super tough tool that Hans Wilsdorf wanted to build all those years ago? Is it a smart investment, a tangible asset, or is it something more than that? Is it a story that you wear on your wrist? You know, the answer is probably, yeah, it's all of those things at once.